Hello everybody and welcome to Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. So this is the brand new version of Car Mechanic Simulator. It's been 3 years in the making, or at least that's the wait we've had to have between the two, but Car Mechanic Simulator has been very good at creating different DLCs to keep us busy, so it hasn't been all that bad. Now this is obviously the brand new main menu, which is much fancier than 2015. In fact, it's so fancy that we've got this screen in the background and all the smoke and everything, and when something appears on the screen, it all reflects on the bodywork of the cars, which does look very fancy indeed. This being a Dodge car. Now what I want to do first of all, just very quickly before we actually get into the game, is I want to show you the Car Showroom. This is basically a great big menu full of all the different cars available to us, which we can then take a look at in closer detail. So for example, if I choose this car here, it will load it up, and all we have to do is just left click and we can spin around it, zoom in and take a look at all the different detail very close up. So just one of the features that we have here. You can do all kinds of stuff here, but we're not going to. We actually want to get straight into the game, and actually first of all what I want to do is show you our workshop as well. There you go, there is the lighting on the bonnet. You can see the paint is reflecting it very nicely indeed. So some nice use of the graphics there. Now it does say at the top right hand corner of the screen that I have already played the game. Actually, all I've done is load up the workshop for about 30 seconds just to see what I should expect when I press new game. I haven't actually done anything at all, and I certainly haven't experienced any part of this game. So it's going to be as new to me as it is to you, unless of course you've been watching other videos, which means you're probably more experienced with the game than I am. So let's just hope this all goes to plan. I do have plenty of experience with Car Mechanic Simulator from the two previous versions, but this one may well be different, I am not too sure. Now one thing which is immediately noticeable to me is that there are a few things which are different than when I loaded up the game a second ago. We did actually have a car which we could take to a test track, which doesn't seem to have loaded, so maybe the game is taking a different approach for each player. In fact, it's a totally different workshop altogether, so I am not too sure what to make of this. I will just re-enter my profile name, press OK, and I'll just load it up again just to make sure nothing has gone wrong. I'm sure it hasn't, just a precaution. Right, okay, so actually maybe something did go wrong. The tutorial didn't seem to boot. Okay, so greetings. Welcome to Car Mechanic Simulator 2018. See the new fully unlocked garage and check the operation of various parts of the workshop. At any time you can finish the tutorial by taking the car for a test drive. Good luck. Okay, what I've done is I've actually reduced the sensitivity of my mouse, because if it's too sensitive we look around extremely fast and it can make you feel a little bit sick. So yes, that is just another thing I have just done just to save the viewing experience from being too bad. Now what's going to happen is, at least I think it is, yes, if we look at an item it's going to open up an automatic page and it's going to explain a few things about item. So this is a spring puller and it says used to compress shock absorbers. If we click OK, then we can obviously do whatever we want to do here, but we don't have the parts to do this with as we haven't even started work on the cars. It's basically just showing us what you would do if you did have them. Two cars in here, I think we can take either of them for a spin, although this rust bucket may not be ready, I'm not too sure. The repair table gives you a chance to repair worn out parts. This is good in case you want to save money effectively. You can buy new parts, and in fact we'll go over to the office just over there in a second, but the chances of repair aren't always great. You do have to have some good experience there. So the workshop is clearly very well kitted out. These pages are opening automatically. Press the right mouse button and select order from the pie menu. Then select the order that you are interested in and accept it. Chicken pie, steak pie. Oh no, I mean it's a pie shape. When you accept the selection of the order, the car automatically appears on your driveway. Using the menu pie, after approaching the car you can view the car card. Right, so it's basically just helping us here. As it said, it is a tutorial. Plenty of tools, it all looks very good except for the 90s computer. Using the computer you can obtain new parts. Now this is one thing which I do want to show you. If we go onto the computer, we'll log in, you can see that actually we have got a much more generous, or should I say a much better laid out store than what we used to have. It used to be, I think there were actually 3 categories: specialist parts, used parts possibly, and new parts. Whereas now we're getting it split into license plates, interior shop, body shop, main shop, rim shop, and tyre shop. I'm not saying though that things weren't added in later DLCs. I'm not entirely sure because I didn't play all the DLCs. But yeah, that is just one thing which I do find very good. If I just go into one of the shops, you can see that we've got a whole range of different tyres which are available to us, including these white walls just down here. So, what I want to do is sort of break away from this tutorial and go and do a bit of a test drive. There is a toolbox. You can upgrade things from the toolbox. The oil drain for safe disposal of oil, and of course just to make it much easier for you anyway, because the last thing you want to do is spill oil everywhere. One of these doors over here is the shutter door to actually leave. Yeah, the main gate for the map, and actually just opening up the map, hopefully we can do that. Yep, you can see that we have got many things. Our garage is just here. We've got the parking, car salon, test track, which we're going to go to in a second, junkyard, car auctions, and racetrack. Now I'm not entirely sure what the car auctions is exactly about, but if I was to take a wild guess, I would say that you can actually buy cars at auction and sell them on, but I'm not entirely sure. We're going to have to find out later in this series. Anyway, what we do want to do is go and take one of these cars for a test drive. I think the Mayan M3 is going to be the car of my choice, and I'm actually dreading it because it's going to be a customer's car and I don't want to crash it. I know I'm not very good at driving in the game. I'm okay in real life, thankfully. But yes, let's just give it a go. We have a number of checks to do. Acceleration test is good. Whoa. Not sure about my handling. Don't crash it, Daggerwin. You will not be a popular mechanic. Suspension test. Just here. It's all good. And finally braking. Almost good. There. And we didn't take any damage. Yes, we'll finish the tutorial and we'll start the game. Can't wait for this. Now, I don't know if we're going to do an awful lot in this first episode. It's basically just to sort of get the feeling of the game and experience some of the mechanics which we can do within this particular version. Is that the first job coming in? I'm not too sure. Oh yes, music does play throughout, but I have actually turned it off, just so you can hear me. Right, okay, so this is intriguing. Main gate. Right, okay. So the places which are open to us are test track, if we had a car, parking, our garage, and that is it. Okay. The phone is here. And we do have a car which needs to be repaired. The brake system needs to be fixed. Oh, and it tells you the mileage now as well. 278,279 kilometres. Oh, what? We have a time limit? Okay, take order. Are we actually timed? That's going to put a lot of pressure on. But fair enough, I suppose. Well, we'll try and examine things from here. What I want to do is focus on various parts. And then examine. So that part there is bad. 4%. So what I'm going to do is put it onto the ramp, as I've just said. We need to go onto the options menu here. To get onto this, what you have to do is right click, and I'm going to put it onto the ramp. And I'm hoping this is actually going to be the correct thing. Yes. Put it onto lifter A. Right, okay, so that is now in the correct position. I'm going to jack it up, lift it up. Up it goes. And this should give us a much better idea as to what is at fault. So if I go into here, we'll focus back onto this page as well. And I want to check the condition of all of these different parts. So as predicted, the caliper is bad as well. Sounds like we don't have the ratchet anymore. The wrench, we're actually using an air gun. Impact wrench. So, we have now opened up the area where the problem is lying. I probably should spin around as well. Now this is feeling similar. Those pads don't look too bad, although we probably should examine them. No, they're good. I wonder why the pads were replaced to be good, but the brake disc was left as bad. Weird. Anyway, just take it off there. If I just come out of this mode. Yes, how do you come out of that mode again? Oh, you press escape. Okay. Good. So I think that is everything which is at fault. Of course, the other side is just as bad. I suppose they thought that they had to do this because the wrench was a bit too slow. And on this side, actually, I think it is just the brake disc which is bad. So 2 brake discs and 1 brake caliper is going to be required. Now, where is our workbench? What would be a good thing to do is to try and repair things without actually having to replace them. But when it comes to these kind of things, you wouldn't usually. So I think we probably should replace them, you know. Otherwise, we are at risk of being a bit cheap. We mustn't sort of cut corners. Right, so it's going to be in the main shop, I would have thought. We need to go for B. Brake disc ventilated, just here. And we need to have 2 of those. We also need to get 1 brake caliper. And that is situated just here. Just 1 of those. Now hopefully this is going to be everything we require. Now what we need to do is build back up again. So we need to change mode. If we go into our inventory, you can see that we have got all of the different conditions laid out here. Now if we click on a particular part, we can actually sell it. So for example, the brake caliper which we've just removed, which is only 5% condition, if we click on it, we can actually get $3 for it. So scrap metal, I would have thought. Sounds pretty good though, $3 for that. Also the brake disc ventilated, $5. And another one here, $4. So that's not really too bad. You get a bit of money back for the parts which we don't need at all. Now what we need to do to change from the disassemble mode to the reassemble mode is right click and click on part mount. This did actually throw me to begin with. I didn't really know what the part mount was, but actually it is just swapping between the 2. So now that we've done that, we can reassemble it. We're going to put one of our brand new brake disc, well, one of our ventilated brake discs on, and yeah, I don't think there's anything else to do here. I'm assuming we just select the part. Good. Same with the brake pads. I'm assuming, yeah, you just left click. And now we've got to put the brake caliper on. So if we go on here, we've got the brake caliper, and it's talking about joining parts together. It says, are you sure you want to join the brake caliper on the brake caliper cylinder? I'm assuming we say yes to this. Yeah, thought so. There are a few things which have changed. For the better, of course. It's becoming more technical, but it's just another learning curve. Once we get used to it, it'll be easy. Again, it's talking about rims and tyres. I was going to say it was a bit strange because we've already got the wheel, the whole wheel. The tyre is on the rim, but it didn't question it again, so that is all perfect. One side is now complete. Now for this side. We're going to install first of all the ventilated brake disc. I need to change again to the part mount mode. And simply put that on. We then need to put the brake pads on. Double click I'm getting the hang of it, you see. And then the brake caliper. It's going to say the caliper cylinder, which is fine. How do you accept it though? Yeah, that's it. Are you sure you want to install the brake caliper on the cylinder? Yes, we do. And then we just join that together. And that should again be done. So finally, we've got the wheel. No questions asked about that. Tighten them up, and it should be done. I'm hoping it's done. So let me just lower it down. No, come down. Come down. My car has lifted off way too high. Come down. Back onto the ground. That's more like it. So, okay. Is that the job done? I think it is, although it looks like there may be some issues at the back as well. Right, okay. So, it even tells us the engine value here as well. Interesting. It does tell us much more than it ever used to. Well, there must be an issue here. I can already see it's rusty. So, we don't even need to bother with checking the condition, although what I will do is just quickly zap these tyres off, just so I can double check what type of brake disc it is. Now it probably does tell us on the to-do list, but we don't want to just rely on the to-do list, we want to do it ourselves. The to-do list is useful, certainly good as a prompt, but if you rely on it completely, you don't have to use your brain. Brake disc. So I don't think it is a ventilated one. Different because it's at the back. It is interesting though, I must say, why somebody has fitted new brake pads but left horrifically rusty and worn brake discs on. Because brake pads are replaced more frequently than discs, I believe, or at the same time. So, yeah, weird. Because the brake pads are in perfect condition. Also, another handy thing is that we can change the amount we want to order. Instead of having to order it twice, we just basically select 2 or 3. Back onto the assembly mode. You see I'm speeding up here. We can then put that on the brake pads. That's more like it. And the caliper. Good. And finally, the rim. Now if I just leave that there, we'll go back to this side. And we'll do the same thing. We're going to reassemble. You have to choose it for both sides. Choose the new brake disc. The original pads, which were good. And then, new caliper. Well, the caliper. And finally, the wheel. I would say we are done. This car is a bit of a browny chocolatey colour. Vehicle status. It all looks good. Finish order. It says total payout 621. And it's gone. Fantastic. Our very first job in Car Mechanic Simulator 2018 is finished. I don't know about you, but I would say we actually have some time to do another job. So let's just go over to the phone and see if another customer has called in. Hopefully they haven't. Oh, they have. And I think this countdown is actually the amount of time it's available for rather than the amount of time we have, because that would be excessively unfair. Job description, it's a bit more in depth than what it used to be. A year and a half ago, I bought my son this car. He said that he's not interested in anything except filling it up at the gas station. Please check the oil and the tyres. That's kind of lazy. It's not exactly hard to check the oil. Still, we mustn't criticise our customers. because otherwise we're going to lose our work. But it's still kind of lazy. Check your oil. We're the angry mechanic. That is an unpleasant kind of colour. And what is it with the rust? What we need to do is, I think, just straight away we'll move the car. There is not really any point in doing it over here. I'll put it up, hopefully just slightly. Yep, that just gets off the ground a bit. And we can kind of cheat and just see air filter, standard tyre, woof, full set of tyres, wow, that's going to cost you a bit. Fuel filter, although they are just standard tyres, so it's not going to cost us too much at all. So that is kind of our shopping list. They have already helped us out here. I believe later on it actually becomes harder and you have to find the faults yourself. So air filter. Air filter. We also want tyres. Standard tyre B. Oh, racing tyres, slick tyres. Standard tyre B. 4. Now what size did they require? Very important. No point buying a standard tyre B and then finding out that we have bought the wrong rim size, as it won't even fit. We're going to have to do this research ourselves. Come here, Wheel. Wheel, you have not given me too much information there. I don't really want to know about the tread depth, but what I want to know is the size of the tyres. It does say down there, in very small writing. Well, I wonder, if I remove this wheel, it may well tell us more about it. Because it does do. When something is in your inventory, it will tell you stuff. So if I now go into my inventory, we should see it. Yes, we can see it. No, I don't want to sell it, although we may do later. 205, 55R, 16. So it is the 16 inch, I think. Yeah, 16, 55, 205. Perfect. So this one here, 16, 205. 55. Good job we got that right, otherwise that could have been a costly mistake. Yeah, as predicted, it is quite expensive, $1,160. Plus fitting, plus labour, plus extra work. I fear this thing has been driven fairly badly. Okay, let me just get this brake pad off as well. Ventilated brake disc. Absolutely shredded tyres. Now what we're going to do in the future is we're actually going to do the fault finding ourselves. We'd use a tread depth gauge to see if the tyres are in need of replacement. Visual checks are usually good enough because obviously if you can see the material inside, or if it's obviously completely worn out, then it would just need changing. But at this early stage, as we're just learning, I'm just going to use the already set up guide for us. So in fact, talking about the already set up guide, let me just go back over here, and I'm going to go onto here, air filter, yeah, change oil. Let me just check those brake pads which I just took off. Brake discs, I should say. Yeah, they actually are not too bad at all. Thought they were bad, but no. They don't look terrible. They're okay. They can stay. But, as we know, the wheel does need to be removed. So that's coming off. Yeah, It's okay. It's going to have to be done though at some point, not by us currently. Come on. I've checked the side as well, but I would have thought it'd be very similar to the other side. Yeah, it's just yellow. So it can stay as it is. Now working on this side, I'm going to brake disc. Oh, I've got the two mixed up, haven't I? Okay. Hang on. Yeah. Probably should have followed the guide, but it's actually okay. I've bought new brake discs, but it doesn't matter. It's good to have a stock for the next car, so I'm not too worried. But yeah, that is one of the things I don't like about following it, because you sort of get confused. It's supposed to help, but it doesn't really help me. I prefer to look for the entire problem myself. They do look rusty, but they have life in them. Yeah, we're gonna have to change those tyres. We need to go over here. Separate tyre from rim, debead it and stuff. Yes, I do want to. Oh, look at that. Now I'm impressed. This game has really stepped up a level. Very nice. And you have to take it off again. Next. Yep. To the developers of this game, it really is well done, because clearly things have been improved. It's not just like 3 years have passed and you've just created another game the same. Things have really changed. Now that we've done this, what we have to do is balance the wheels, otherwise they could vibrate a lot. So I'm going to put one in here. You're going to see it spin. It's going to balance it, and then if it's not in balance, then it can add little weights, which I think are actually shown. Yeah, here they are. Little weights which keep it in balance. In fact, I think they have these weights anyway. Wheel balance the weights. So it spins it a few times in each direction, basically calibrating the wheel. And once we've done all 4, we can install them again. So if we take this one off there, we can then put another one on here to balance this one as well. In fact, while that one's done, we'll go and fit it to the car. Okay, 1 second. In fact, put the same wheel back on the balancer. What were the chances of doing that? Not to worry, it's now on, so we can put another one on here. Get that going. Can balance. Now we can do the front ones. That is like a mud flap off a lorry. I thought I recognised it. It's probably not though, it's probably just a great big metal guard, which looks very similar. Bear with me, it shouldn't take too much longer. Has to be right though. That must be it. Are you happy with the wheel balancer? Yeah, you are, good. We'll fit this before we start the next one. And then this car is not going to be too far off completion. Good. Well, I remember we actually have to buy a fuel filter as well. We've got to do all the filters along with an oil change. F for fuel. There it is. Not too expensive. Is that wheel done? Yes, it is. Probably shouldn't leave it unattended. At least that is all of this part done. I'm hoping we don't have to take the wheels off again to do the fuel filter. Actually, while I'm under here, do we have to? It doesn't look like we do. It's not exactly like real life where your view is really restricted. I'm missing something here, aren't I? Yeah, the caliper. I don't know what happened to the caliper. It just disappeared. Very strange. Still learning. So it looks as though I'm going to have to get a caliper. Which is weird because it didn't request it as far as I'm aware. It's going to come under B though. B for brake caliper. It could be $75 just down the drain from the business point of view. I am unsure as to why that actually happened. Maybe looking back at the video, I'll be able to figure it out. Maybe I accidentally sold it. Weird. Or maybe the part wasn't good enough. But that's this done. So yeah, just 3 jobs left to do. Fuel filter, air filter, and oil. And I suppose oil filter as well, actually. It doesn't say to do the oil filter, but you just do. Air filter should be under this cap here. It just has some clips. Very, very simple. Really was lazy not to do this themselves. How dirty is this old one then? Yeah, not too nice. Now let's install the new one. It was 0% life. On the plus side, the clips are good. Starting to get the hang of it now. Perfect. And then the fuel filter, which is going to be... It's going to be either at the front or the back. That narrows it down. It could be at the back. It could well filter it straight away. Going to have to take a look underneath here. Where is the fuel tank? There. Accessible from under the car. Take a look in a second. Ah, actually, there it is. I've just spotted it. So we'll stick that in there as well. If only it was as real as this, as I should say, as easy as this. Of course, it's as real as this in real life, because we didn't have to mess around with any hoses there. Simple. Good. Let me just put this right up on the top of the lift. We'll grab this thing. Now this is where it can become quite messy. Yeah, I want to move it. Because... Oh, okay. I was going to say that, yeah, if you don't put it in the right place, it's going to be messy, but it looks like in 18, it puts it in the right place automatically, whereas in 14 and 15, it didn't do. Keeps it very easy. Let's just hope it actually is in the right place. Come on then. I need to remove this. That's weird. I want to remove that plug. Well, I must say this is kind of weird. I'm trying to remove the sump plug, which has always been easy to do before, but whenever I try and do it, it just tries to remove the entire sump. Maybe I'm doing something simple but wrong. That is strange, I have to admit. Yeah, because that is definitely the sump plug. Weird. We may have to skip this. I do have the beta version of the game rather than the released version. But no, I should think there is nothing wrong here. It's just they've changed the control for doing the drain plug, which means we may have to skip it. And I don't want to remove that filter. Kind of annoying. That is annoying. Well, I don't know what to think now. We may have to skip it. I will look into it. I didn't want to skip it, but if we can't do it, we can't do it. So, yes, we're just going to have to take the job, if it will allow us to. Which it won't do. It's weird. Very, very weird. You can examine it as a different thing, but you can't do anything else. Now, I can only see one solution here, and that is to remove the sump, but you just don't do that. And if we did this with it completely full of oil, it would be the biggest mess you'll have ever seen. But it seems to have worked, has it? That is strange. That is very strange. I mean, I don't know what to say. I have not a clue what to say about that. It's certainly not the way I would drain the oil. Well, interesting stuff. What I would do is lower it down and attempt to put oil in. But yeah, I don't know. Seems to be doing it. Let's just hope it actually did drain it and it's not just overflowing. Check it in the dipstick. It's only halfway. Keep going with it until it's about full. Oh, it's gurgling. Perfect. So, are you happy with that, the customer? I don't know. I wouldn't be. Yeah, they're happy with it. Total payout $2,171. Very bizarre, but it's done. So let me know your opinion on that. It can't be just me. It can't be. But yeah, we're going to leave it there. Thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. I want to give a big thank you to Playway and of course the developer for creating what seems to be a very lovely new version of the game. And yeah, I just can't wait to do the next episode of this series. I don't know when it's going to be, but first of all I want to read the feedback and then we can go from there. Anyway, see you again soon. Bye for now.